So welcome to Mind by TV. We're in conversation with the legendary voice of basketball in Canada, Jack Armstrong. Welcome, Jack.
Darryl, my pleasure.
So you're here today. You're speaking at our annual general meeting, which is in just a few moments, and couldn't have been a more perfect time for us. You're on the verge of catching a flight to San Francisco for Game 6. First of all, can you tell us a little bit about the excitement around the team right now as you look forward to our next game?
Oh, it's just so much fun right now. The people are just so pumped up. I mean, you've seen it all across the country, the joy and the enthusiasm and the excitement that people have for the Toronto Raptors and the sport of basketball. It's a celebration of the whole thing. And, I've had the opportunity to go to a lot of NBA All-Star games, and, that's a celebration of the sport and the celebration of our great players. And this is my first time ever being at an NBA Finals because the Raptors haven't been there and I've never had to work it before. Then to experience this, you're celebrating the two best teams, rightfully so, in the league that have earned their way through the 30 teams, the two best that are there now. And it's a celebration of two great teams, our great players, and awesome fan bases. Toronto, obviously the Bay Area. And so it's just been an amazing ride. And this is my 21st season with the Raptors. And there's been a lot of ups and downs along the way. But to have the opportunity to be part of this is just, I'm just happy to be along for the ride.
You've been with the Raptors for many years, as you mentioned, a lot of lean years. I'm sure, being so close to the team, you've always hoped the team would be in this kind of position. Is this how you figured the country would react with the Raptors being in this position?
What's the old line? Vision is seeing the end product before you start the journey. And I think the vision I've always had is that this thing is a sleeping giant, and the sleeping giant has awoken. I've always felt, based upon having traveled the country and having conversations with people all over the country, that there is a strong following for the sport of basketball and a strong following for the Toronto Raptors. And you just need that moment where everyone, bang, comes together and it all happens. And it's the perfect storm. And the perfect storm has happened. And now, the genie's out of the bottle. And the best is yet to come. And when I say the best is yet to come, well, I'm hoping that the Raptors can win the championship, number one. And number two, think of all the little boys and little girls that are just starting off their athletic careers and saying, what sport do I want to play? We talk a lot about the fact that Canada has the second most NBA players in the world behind the United States, which is terrific. And a lot of those kids were influenced by Vince Carter when they were little kids playing for the Raptors. You're going to have a lot of little boys playing in the NBA someday or over in Europe or playing at the highest level of college basketball in the States, or a lot of little girls are going to be playing in the WNBA or overseas or playing at the highest levels of college basketball in the States that will say that they were influenced by this. And to me, who's to say that some kid, some 8-year-old guy who could end up being like a Sidney Crosby someday says, I want to be a point guard instead of being a center. So you just don't know. You don't know. But to me, I think you're creating a whole new generation of Raptor fans and basketball fans. And, I'm really pumped up about that.
We're also seeing, to bring it back to a little bit to Ontario Shores, kind of that same generational movement when it comes to mental health in terms of that conversation, growing, acceptance. And I'm wondering, have you seen kind of mental health penetrate kind of the NBA circles as well in terms of acceptance?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thought it was terrific that DeMar DeRozan and Kevin Love have both spoken about the things that they've gone through and the feelings that they've had. And I think it's great that they came out and said that. And the beautiful thing was the overwhelming amount of support that they received. And to me, I think it's really good now that our society has embraced the fact that mental health is a significant thing that we should all embrace and talk about, and be there to help each other out and be there to support each other. And I'm a former college basketball coach and spent 14 years of my life coaching 18 to 22-year-old guys. And I've seen a lot of different things and a lot of challenges along the way. And, I reflect back to then and I look at now. I don't think our society was as tuned in to some of the things that need to be addressed that it is now. And I talk about basketball, the best is yet to come in terms of treatment and support for mental health. The best is yet to come. I see such a willingness to talk about it. I see such a willingness to support it, and as it should be. And I'm a major believer in it and supporter of it. And we've all had in our lives, from a primary perspective, a secondary perspective, on both levels, a connection with folks that have had challenges. And I think it's, again, one of those things that the more we talk about it, the more we embrace it, the more we learn about it and educate ourselves about it, the better we could all do our part to help.
Being here today and walking through the halls of the hospital for the first time, you're already seeing people come up to you, and as one of the most recognizable faces for basketball in the country.
That $3 gets me on the subway.
You must get that a lot, and I know your backstory a little bit. Growing up in Brooklyn, I bet you never thought that you'd be associated with basketball in another country the way you are today. And I'm wondering what events like today's and when you go around the country, what they mean to you when you're interacting with people.
It's great because, when I'm 56 years old now. When I was 6, I started playing basketball, and I had a love affair with that orange ball. And here I am 50 years later, and I can't thank that orange ball enough. And I always tell young people, find that thing that you love and do it, and I have 3 older brothers, and they're all a whole lot more successful than I am. I just fell head over heels on basketball. And so if art is your passion, or music, or medicine, or law, or whatever it may be, find it, do it, because you'll never work a day in your life. I mean, you work your tail off, but you get up every morning and you're passionate about what you do. And to me, so when I have the opportunity to travel across Canada, travel across the United States, I've had the opportunity to be in a lot of cool places in the world because of the sport of basketball. It's made me a better person. It's given me so many things, and I've had so many experiences in my life, lifetime friendships. I met my wife. I was the basketball coach at Niagara University. She was the women's soccer coach. I mean, I don't get to meet my wife, who I'm married with. We just had our 26th wedding anniversary last week, and I can't thank that ball enough for all the cool people and interesting people and great moments, and also a lot of challenging bad moments that I've had along the way that all go into it. And what do they say? 10% is what happens to you. 90% is how you deal with it. And sports builds character. It also reveals it. It helps you grow. You learn a lot about yourself. And from my playing days to my coaching days to my broadcasting days, it's formed me, and it's helped me learn a lot about myself and help me grow. And the relationships then of meeting so many incredible people across Canada that are so kind and welcoming and friendly, it's been just off the charts.
One of our passions here is obviously treating people with mental health issues. The other one is stigma. And I want to thank you for your presence here today, because that relationship that we're going to display in a few minutes' time is really going to do wonders for our staff and our patients. And so thank you again for being here. And I wonder if you have one thing you were going to say to get the stigma associated with mental health out of here. What would you do?
Well, the stigma shouldn't exist. I mean, we should be all there for each other. We're all in this together. We should all be caring for each other and pulling ourselves up. And for anyone who hasn't bought into this yet, all I'll say is, get that garbage out of here.
Perfect.
All right?
Awesome.